Barcelona, the home of beautiful beaches, Antoni Gaudi, paella, probably a few dwarves now, and now a new resident is ready to stamp his name on this beautiful city, Marcus Rashford. If you'd asked Marcus Rashford where he'd be playing in 5 years, back in 2020, he'd probably said Manchester United every single time. Yet fast forward to 2025 and we're hungry to see Marcus back at his full potential. No, Marcus, that's just a saying. I'm not actually hungry, I swear down. It's just like a bit of a, I've had dinner already, I swear. Truthfully, this is Marcus Rashford's biggest season ever, and here's why. Before any of that noise though, yeah, you lot must be crazy. Thank you so much for 750,000 subscribers. You guys have been smashing with the support. I've been doing this now for like literally 12 years. I might actually be 47 years old. And to be able to still like connect with you guys, whether it be just through football content or just chatting shit on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever, and for you guys to still be supporting for so long, honestly, it means like so much. I appreciate it so massively. And now, of course, I've got to hold my side of the bargain. I've got to make a real life football video, so let me know down in the comment section who you would want to feature in that. Spoiler that I probably won't be able to get Marcus Rashford for it. I think he might be a little bit out of the wage bracket, but genuinely, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. Next up, 800k. I need to find a thing to say to promise for that, actually. I reckon there's about 6 people that are gonna get Ruben Amorim a Christmas card, and one of them's his wife, I imagine. I mean, I shouldn't really assume that how that relationship is going. I do know how the relationships are going with his Manchester United players though. Alejandro Garnacho told that he looks like a girl in year 9. Rasmus Højlund probably preparing to go back onto The Voice again. Tyrell Malacia, gone missing again, probably dead again. Meanwhile, for Marcus Rashford, the truth of the matter is he's been on the chopping block since about 7 minutes after Amorim arrived at Manchester Airport. He's of course coming off the back of a loan spell at Aston Villa, which went pretty well, to be honest with you. Himself and Marco Asensio really managing to breathe some life into Aston Villa's second half of the season, including a Champions League run only ended by the eventual winners PSG. It was curtailed a little bit by an injury at the end, which was a shame. This after spending a year playing with an injury at Manchester United, something that I'm sure left him feeling in pretty heavy discomfort. But you don't have to be at discomfort when you're sat doing your job. So thank you to the lovely people at Secret Lab for providing one of their chairs. And unlike what had been on my channel previously, it's not at a 45-degree angle. These are sensational, very comfortable, allow you to spin around daintily. And honestly, this thing's massive. You could probably park your car on this. I don't advise that. Don't try. So thank you very much to them, not only for sending me over this product, but also from saving me from scoliosis. Man's not going A&E. It's a miracle. Anyway, back to Marcus. And given the fact that Aston Villa are located in Birmingham, I'm sure he was secretly pretty happy to get out of there.
Don't ask me why. I've just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shithole.
But it definitely gave us hope of a Rashford return, and now he's back out on loan, heading to the new camp, in a transfer that if it genuinely happened on FIFA career mode, I would probably uninstall the game for being too unrealistic. Don't get it twisted, I would uninstall FIFA anyway. It's not a good game. But if I'd logged on to FIFA 20 5 years ago, played career mode, and he was up top with Martin Braithwaite, I'd have started following tennis instead. I'd have gone on strike from the whole sport. Now, this move hasn't actually been confirmed at the point of recording, but Fabrizio Romano's been quick to ruin it for everybody once again, and some pictures of his, I assume, announcement have been leaked, where he stood next to a traditional English phone box on the turf. It has me wondering, though, what his phone call in that box is actually gonna sound like. Furthermore, why? What do you mean they can't register me till February? Ruben Amorim will be getting emotional reading out his texts from Marcus from that phone box tomorrow morning.
Hope you get hit by a bus today, you fucking wanker.
And look, I'm sure he has a lot of love for Manchester United. He's a lifelong fan, came to their youth academy, became a cult hero. Well, not a cult hero, just a hero of United and of Manchester. But that club is becoming a pyramid scheme at this point. But surely he has to be excited at the prospect of getting a little bit more game time now on loan. There's more chance of Old Trafford falling down on top of Marcus Rashford than him actually getting any sort of game time at the club. Although, to be fair, actually, with the state of Old Trafford, that's pretty likely too. Ruben Amorim's got this guy exiled in Barcelona. Oh no, what a shame, what a punishment. Bro, of all the places you could get exiled to in Europe, Barcelona's a pretty decent effort. The move, though, is starting to make a little bit more sense when we run the clocks back to 2009. As I said, though, beautiful place, sensational weather. If you're Marcus Rashford, you'll be quick to strike up some conversation with the locals when you find out it's 28 degrees outside in November. You mean, yes, sunny, innit? Let's be honest, Lamine Yamal is still young enough to qualify for getting free ham sandwiches from Rashford at full time. The children of Barcelona are going to be gassed when they realise they're getting free school meals for the year.
Il Bosch.
This is another financial lever. The whole football club has not got to pay a single euro on catering now. And also the prospect of Marcus Rashford in La Liga, not only does it feel weird, whilst this has been a transfer that's been talked about for a month or so we're kind of used to it now, seeing Marcus Rashford play in Spain is going to be strange. And watching him versus Trent Alexander-Arnold in El Clasico is going to feed the streets of Spain, which is also what 50% of that duo is going to do anyway. I can't wait to see him reunited with Kylian Mbappe in an El Clasico fixture as well, after Manchester United beat PSG a few years ago. Though I'm not sure Kylian will be quite as impressed when he sees the Englishman walk through the door. Let's talk about the elephant in the room though, and ultimately this isn't the same Marcus Rashford as was knocking Paris Saint-Germain out of the Champions League with Axel Tuanzebe at United. What even happened to him, bro? Where did he go? Not that that's actually stopping Barcelona fans from getting excited about the entire move. They're tweeting about it, they're happy about what's going on, but some of those tweets are focusing on other aspects of Marcus Rashford. But he's not even signed yet. Bro, the rumours have been like 25 minutes, they're already talking about his head shape, which is totally fair, because the back of his head does look like a Toshiba laptop. It's absolutely mad. That's actually my guy right there. That's like efficiency. He wants to be aerodynamic in all walks of life. That's why he's so quick, bro. In Nigerian Yoruba, yeah, there's a term, right? It's the ogo, okay, on the back of your head. It's that bit that like bulges out, pause. It's the bit that like protrudes at the back of your head and then goes down into your neck. That's the ogo. Bro doesn't have one. It's all gone. It's out of there. It's missing. But the last couple of years for Marcus Rashford, let's be honest, have also been a little bit flat. I'm sorry. I actually don't have a problem with it. He's a nice guy. We all know about Marcus Rashford. We all know about the come up. The goals in the Europa League, the goals in the Premier League, scoring like on his debuts in various different walks of life, either for Manchester United or in Europe or for England. Marcus Rashford has always been a goal getter, a stone cold killer. But not only that, an incredible ball carrier, a really underrated dribbler and skillster, someone that can strike the ball incredibly and has got a decent bit of creativity. Obviously, physically, he's very, very quick, but he's also pretty intelligent on the ball too. Genuinely speaking, when Marcus Rashford first burst onto the scene, I think he was the next star. He was the next striker that we all looked to. In the end, he's ended up being pushed more out wide, but he's still been very effective there. And whilst there's been frustrating times in Marcus Rashford's career, there's never been really any doubting of his actual footballing capabilities. And all of that kind of led into a 22-23 campaign that was absolutely electric for Marcus. It was Erik ten Hag's first season, and he managed to grab 30 goals across all competitions, playing predominantly from the left-hand side. I mean, he played centrally at times as well, but either way, grabbing 30 goals, not even just goal contributions, outright goals. He matched his goal-scoring record in the Premier League, getting 17. It was an absolutely incredible goal-scoring campaign. I think it was one of his most impressive seasons to date. He scored all sorts of goals, scored some bangers. I'm thinking the one against Arsenal in the Prem, like he chopped inside and then just unleashed the strike down into the bottom corner. Stupid amounts of pace, struck it incredibly. We've seen that from Marcus throughout his entire career. That free kick against Chelsea is actually one of the best free kicks to have been taken in English football in like the last 10 years. I'm not even chatting shit. That is actually a ridiculous strike. He scored some nice goals elsewhere, some nice dribbling, skipping past players left, right and centre. The two goals he scored against Betis actually in the Europa League, one blasting it into the roof of the net, one then lacing one from range as well. This after scoring against his future employers Barcelona in the round before, I want to say. He clearly had confidence and was working really well under Erik ten Hag in his first season at the club, which ultimately, his 30 goals across all competitions were a massive, massive hand in taking Manchester United into the Champions League for the next campaign. The thing though with Marcus Rashford, and I've always associated it with him to a lesser extent, Luke Shaw is the king of this, or was until he disappeared off the face of the earth. That season on, season off, like patchwork, checkerboard type of career. You can rely on Marcus Rashford to have an absolutely incredible season, right? Nominated for PFA Team of the Year, like he's one of the best wingers in the league, without shadow of a doubt. Goal contributions, confidence, performance, left, right and centre. And then the next season, average. And it'll be, for a multitude of reasons. Either he won't necessarily be able to pull things together, it might be injury problems, like playing an entire campaign with, what was it, an ankle injury? Or was it a back injury? I can't fully remember. But he was injured for an entire season and played through it. Obviously not going to perform to the best of his abilities. It might be instability at the football club. Manchester United's been a mess for like 10 years now. You can almost guarantee that he won't then kick on the next season. And that is kind of then what happened the next campaign. But the 23-24 season, Manchester United fell off. pretty, completely. They went from finishing third and scoring a relatively comfortable Champions League spot to dropping all the way down into 8th and only qualifying for Europe thanks to an FA Cup victory. And in that time, Marcus Rashford suffered. He only grabbed 8 goals in 43 appearances in all comps. It was average. It wasn't that incredible. But hey, look, listen, that means we're due an amazing season from Rashford because that's how it usually works. Except that's not what happened. The Erik ten Hag nightmare continued. Manchester United looked even worse for the first half of the season, and then in would come Ruben Amorim. At this point, Marcus has got 4 goals in 15, and Ruben Amorim unfortunately decided he didn't really fancy free school dinners. Marcus was almost completely exiled, was compared to the club's 67-year-old goalkeeping coach, and knew that he had to make a move out to Aston Villa. He needed that drive back in his life. And I'm not talking about a drive that would leave his Rolls Royce looking like a Sainsbury's shopping trolley on the edge of the A52. As I mentioned previously, the Aston Villa run was pretty good until injury unfortunately curtailed it right at the end. You saw the spark of Marcus, especially right at the start. There was that confident winger that could take on his man with an abundance of tricks and actually had confidence again in front of goal. Like a decisive winger that's going to make an impact, not just a bit of a passenger who might turn up when he fancies it. And that leads us to his move to Barcelona, one that you could argue is a bit of a surprise, but to be fair, he's a footballer leaving Manchester United, which means he's now going to become one of the best footballers in the world. Scott McTominay left Manchester United and become the MVP of Serie A. Romelu Lukaku, ex of Manchester United, left the club and has now gone on to win the Scudetto as Scott's teammate. Antony showed no real signs of any hand-eye coordination in his time at United, yet left on loan and became Real Betis' star man, scoring absolute bangers left, right and centre, getting goal contribution after goal contribution and helping the Spanish side to a Conference League final. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, probably one of West Ham's players of the season, looking like the right back that he probably should have been when he was playing at United. Anthony Elanga, key part in Nottingham Forest getting into Europe for the first time in decades, then getting a big money move to Newcastle. Jadon Sancho is still alive, I assume. We all know that he's going to go there and go triple platinum. Now, obviously, he's got a difficult task. Barcelona, led by Hansi Flick, doesn't take a genius. This is a very good side, and it's an extremely good side going forward. Their main attribute, to be honest with you, is the fact that they score an abundance of goals. Their wingers have been absolutely incredible in the season just gone, and so have their forwards. Robert Lewandowski is still going strong, despite being at least 55 years of age. Rafinha is, probably, if Barcelona win the Champions League, Rafinha finishes top 2 in the Ballon d'Or. Probably only behind the guy that plays on the opposite wing, which is Lamine Yamal, who is a freak of nature at his age and is going to become the best footballer in the world, if not already being there in terms of actual overall ability. This is a frightening front three, right? That honestly, if Jesus Christ himself returned from some cave somewhere near Jerusalem and proclaimed that he wanted to start up front for Barca, he's probably getting on the bench at best. They're bringing him on for 25 minutes to walk on water or some shit to waste some time at the end. So if you're Marcus Rashford, coming off the back of a underwhelming 2 years, even though there's been a promising spell at Aston Villa, you have to know you're not going to just break into the starting 11. But I think of any clubs that he could find himself going to, this has got to be one of the best, hasn't it? I've seen people talk about the fact that he's falling upwards. I don't necessarily disagree. It's like a harsh statement, but if we're being honest, Barcelona are probably like the second best club in the world. From an attacking perspective, they're incredible. Defensively, they maybe leave a bit to be desired at times, but they and PSG were the class of the Champions League last season, right? They are amazing. Barcelona are absolutely class. So for him to find himself in an environment like that, at a club like that that's performing so well, that has just won La Liga, is impressive based on how things have gone. And for that very reason, this is so important for him. If it doesn't work here, and he doesn't look impressive in a Barcelona side that are designed for someone like Marcus Rashford in the way that they play, in my opinion, and are just so unbelievably good going forward, then you have to wonder whether it's going to work at any major club ever again for him. And I'm not trying to put pressure on him. I think he is going to succeed for the reasons that I've given. Obviously, he's not going to start many games to start off with, but there's a chance that he could break into the team. I was watching a video by the club and Adam was talking about how he thinks that Rashford is better than Rafinha. Let's slow down for a second.
Let's not take the piss here.
You can only say for so long that a player is technically speaking better than someone else based on top form if they haven't shown that top form in like 2 years. So we can't even have that debate anymore. The guy he might not be that guy anymore. And that's okay. Rafinha is better than Rashford in form and just, I think, in terms of the pinnacle that they can both hit right now. But Rashford can still contribute a lot to this Barcelona team if his mind is there and if he's got his confidence back. We all know that based on the United curse, that he should go triple platinum. And honestly, I think we should all want that. Marcus Rashford in his time not only has been an exciting footballer, and it pains me to say this because, you know, I don't want him to be good at Manchester United, but he has been. He's been sick. He's been good for England, you know, during his spell playing for the Three Lions. But more importantly than that, I think as a person, he's championed a lot of things that we should want to champion in our day-to-day lives as well. Whether it be anti-racism campaigns, whether it be providing opportunities for underprivileged young people or children in the country, or creating a sense of community with the people that we find around us. Marcus Rashford has always been very clear on things that for me, like, I also find and feel that should be close to my heart too. Kids shouldn't be freezing cold in their houses because of a cost of living crisis that has made electricity bills and heating bills completely unaffordable to the average person. Meanwhile, billionaires that are British but live abroad are able to avoid and evade tax so they can buy a 17th yacht of the year. Children in maybe lower privileged communities should at the very least have the basic ability to eat dinner, to have lunch at school, to drink some milk and have some strong calcium in their bones every now and again. These are not things that are revolutionary. These are not things that are too much to ask in a country like the United Kingdom, okay? We're very privileged to live in a country that at the end of the day has the infrastructure to be able to support a large population of people, but a lot of the time the lower classes are not thought about and are overlooked by various governments that we have in charge, whether it be previous ones like Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, or even the one that we have right now. Pessimists have called that a PR machine for Marcus Rashford, but whatever the reasons behind that, and I have to assume that they are real reasons based on his upbringing and based on his experiences in life as well, his morals and ethics have always been strong, and I think that he's someone that young, impressionable football fans should look up to. Yeah, cool, the last 2 years on the pitch might not have been that great, but as a guy and as someone with principles, he is someone that I think we should look at and learn from as well. So honestly, I want him to do numbers at Barcelona. Will he do numbers? That's to be decided. Either way, realistically, as I've mentioned, this has to be the moment where Marcus Rashford turns things around. He's not old by any stretch of the imagination, but as a winger, you're coming towards the end of your prime now if you're Rashford. If he spends 2 years not doing the job at Manchester United, then goes to Villa and does okay, then goes to Barca and flops, he's going to be heading back to Manchester United with no permanent move once again, and his future is once again going to be undecided, and that can't be a way that Marcus wants to live his life as well. So I do hope things turn out for him. Maybe he can make a career of himself in Spain with Barca, but what do you think? Do you think he's going to be a success in La Liga, or do you think he'll be back at Manchester United next season? Drop it down in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed this video though, feel free to slap a like on it, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. Again, thank you so much for 750,000 subscribers. It's absolutely crazy. Like, if you'd asked me 2013 sitting down to make an Aston Villa career mode, yo, how many subscribers do you think you'll have in 2025? I'd have probably been like, is it on OnlyFans? No, OnlyFans didn't exist back then. I'd have been like, probably 400, maybe. Like, genuinely 1,000 would be nice at some point, but to still be able to do this at this point is sick, and I really appreciate it from you guys. If you do want to follow me on social media, you can do. It's at @theofficialfng on Twitter, Insta, and on TikTok. But it has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye. Yeah.